Alright guys, welcome to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Rebuild, repair, restore, refurbish. Whatever you'd like to call it. So I have the cabinet pulled out. Marquee lights with bulbs. The smashed frame from the 2575 that was in Buck Hunter. I have this coin door. I'm pretty sure that might be a pinball door. I got this door. Has a dollar bill or a card swiper type holes in it. I'd have to look at my other midway doors and see how they are compared. Not sure I really like that, but it might be standard. I just don't remember, guys, so don't crucify me too bad. Bottom of the cabinet to me doesn't look that horrible. Now I know that this cabinet is probably a Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet. I don't even know if I want to rub the paint off to find out for sure. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is remove the back door. It's held in by these lovely drywall screws. Well, just one. I am going to start taking all the hardware off this cabinet. Speaker grate, speakers, sweet, what can we call that? Sweet light bulb marquees. So I'm gonna get all the hardware off here. I'm gonna cut new wood. Maybe I won't. That's pretty solid like that. Probably should have just glued that. Well, this side's gonna need one. Alright. And you can see that this is crooked. The bottom monitor glass piece. Now I'm going to have to really make sure this is square. It's fastened somehow. And I might even need to rebuild it. I don't know. Alright, this clip's getting to be like 4 minutes long and I ain't really done shit. I kind of like to do that because, in all honesty, guys, this cabinet's been in my garage for a year, maybe two. I've always planned to make this a UMK 3, but other than just kind of glancing at it, I've never spent any time examining it. So in such, when I am looking at this cabinet and seeming like I'm not really saying much is because, honestly, guys, you guys are inspecting it with me for the first time here on this channel. That's pretty cheesy, huh? But you know what? Fuck it. Alright, guys. So as you can see, this is loose. There was about a 2-inch wood screw, drywall screw, whatever, going through the side here into this main brace. I do have some screws going through that side, but as you can see, they're bondoed over. So I've already made up my mind. I'm going to rebuild this piece of bracing right here with new wood. So instead of me digging out all that Bondo, I'm just going to tap those back out so I can get a hold of them and then twist them out. Now before I do anything, I'm going to make sure I leave all these witness marks here of where the original bracing was at. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do here is pre-make these side bracings and this bottom piece here. Then I'm going to have to make sure it's square with the sides and the bottom. So when it, you know, the glass has got perfect right angles on it, so I'm going to have to make sure my frame is pretty close to a perfect right angle. I don't want, see, this was the way they had this in here. It was down where it was supposed to be, the up was tilted. So therefore, when you put a piece of glass in here, it would have hit this side first that was high. And then there would have been no support along the bottom of that glass. All the weight of it would have been right here. I don't know if that's a big issue per se, but we are rebuild, restore, repair, refurbishing, so guess might as well do it right. Alright guys, so I have this, what is this, 2x8? Something like that. Yeah, about a 2x8. It doesn't seem warped to me. So what I'm going to do, let's take a look at this here, guys. Let's see how this piece is constructed. Oh. This saw is not plugged in, so we have this main piece of wood right here, this black piece. I don't know the measurements on it, but it appears to be somewhere around 1 inch by 1 inch square. So that's our main piece of wood. Then you can see we have this thinner piece stapled and glued to the larger 1x1. I'm just going to call it a 1x1. And the same thing here. So when I'm making my 1x1, I'm going to make sure to shave off however thick this piece is so I can recreate these two pieces. I should be able to find a piece of this 3/4 inch somewhere laying around, and I'll probably make these out of pine too. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different size pieces to cut. And then obviously this piece right here is the same that goes up the sides to hold the bezel and the glass, which I will be replacing too. Alright guys, so I'm going to try to use some of this 2x8 here. Fashion me a new one of these. And I am going to keep this piece right here for a template. So if you guys ever run into the problem of needing this new bottom piece, get a hold of me and I'll know how to make it. Yeah, you can see it was cracked and broken. It also has a bow in it, so. Alright guys, enough of this. I'm going to start measuring these pieces and cutting them out so we can build something. Alright fellas. So I've been doing some I believe this piece right here was put on by whoever repaired this the brake in this main beam. I also believe that this main beam is poplar instead of I'm using pine. Sorry there. I don't know if it is or not. It just, some of the graining looks like that. See how it's green in there? Poplar always has a greenish tint to it. And it is technically a hardwood, I believe. Where pine is a softwood. But I think it'll still work. So here's my main beam, the 1x1 area. Here is the section that the glasses will rest on. And this will make the section where the shroud rests on, maybe. I think the shroud goes on here and then the glass covers it here. Maybe, I don't remember. Anyways, I'm going to have to get measurements from this ledge to here back, so I can mark my piece of wood and make sure that I get my dimensions of where these are located, or how much space I have from this corner down and from this corner back is correct. Appears these are factory staples. At least I presume so, because they're actually underneath this wood, which means there would have been little blocks stuck to the side of the cabinet that these stapled to. So I'm going to have to go about making a brace system, and then once I get this braced into the cabinet, I will go ahead and put on another piece just for extra stabilization to help keep it from bowing and stuff, if that makes sense. Look, I'm not a very good teacher, I'm just kind of explaining my own words of what I'm doing, so I hope everybody's following. Move on now. I was hoping I could tap these screws out, but as you can see, all I did was knock some Bondo off. So I'm going to have to go ahead and dig the Bondo out of here so I can remove these screws. And yeah, I got to remove the screws. Alright, so I found the 2 screw heads. I found some other holes here I dug in. I'm like, how in the hell did they get chalk in there? Well, I really think that's joint compound. I think somebody filled some of these holes in these, where these screws were, with joint compound, sanded it over. So, I'm going to take these screws out now. And, there's some of the artwork. I think that's Mortal Kombat 2, like the lightning. Right in here. Alright fellas, so I have successfully recreated this broken piece here. As you can see, there's not the extra piece of wood back here. I don't think this was factory, but I will put another piece back here after I get this connected to the cabinet with its braces on the cabinet, if that makes sense. Just to be sure, I don't know if it's factory or not, but an extra little brace back here can't help, or can't hurt. Then I have the new wood cut for that go up the sides from here. That makes sense with my camera directions. I have 3. I only need 2. It's basically just a bunch of squares glued and stapled to one another. I really believe this wood right here was, what the hell did I say? Piss elm. Poplar, that's it. Alright guys. Alright guys. I'm trying to draw out where that back of the square piece goes. I seem to have about a 1/16 of an inch difference between the front edge here and that line versus the front edge and that line. I'm going to try to mentally sort that out so I can get it right. And I'd be a fool not to sand the inside of this shadow box while there's nothing there. So I'm going to lightly run the sander over the shadow box area with still leaving a witness mark of where the front edge of the wood goes. Now I'm going to try to place all this stuff back where Midway originally put it. As you can see, there was a little block of wood behind here that it sets up against and was nailed to. And I may revert to screws in this situation because sometimes, well, I believe some glue and screw, well, it's just stronger, in my opinion. Alright guys, I am going to wrap up part 3 here. So, like, subscribe, share, stuff like that. And I'll see you in part 4 when we finish the rest of the front and start sanding on this guy. Alright, peace.